the city, everything is in bloom. Ball flinging, birds singing, bees stinging, and soon one love, one people, walking round in harmony. Everybody is equal, yeah, I'm talking about equality. Benevolent, intelligent, together in peace. I love everybody, yeah, that's what I believed, until I rode on the metro.
The subway is the backbone and the circulatory system of New York City. It is among the most extensive and well-trafficked subway system in the world, carrying millions of riders each day to work, to school, to appointments, and to cultural events, and to thousands of other activities that can never be sustained without robust mass transit. It is also among the oldest system in the world. Subway service has declined dramatically in recent years. The Metropolitan Authority statistics are clear. Trains are frequently delayed, platforms are overcrowded.
My name is Asivia Ali. I'm 20 years old, and I go to Brooklyn College.
Alright, I'm Weston Loving, I'm 23, and I go to Brooklyn College.
So what is your everyday commute? How do you get to point A to point B on a normal basis?
I usually take the bus to school. I would take the Q35. If it was just like going to the city, I would take a bus and a train.
Okay, how much do you pay for a Metro card?
For a Metro card, I usually do 20 for like a week. So like I know people do like a whole month for like I don't remember
$120, I believe. Yeah,
it's a lot, but I guess it's better to do like big bundles of it, so you don't have to worry about refilling it.
So how often do you commute?
Every day, Monday through Thursday.
Okay, and how much do you pay for a Metro card? Do you buy weeklies, monthlies, or just single fares?
Single fares.
And how much do you pay for a single fare?
$2.75.
Okay. What is your everyday commute like? Do you drive or take MTA?
From Staten Island, and unfortunately that means I have to take the MTA. And I take the S79 bus over into Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And from there I'm taking the R train to wherever my destination is, whether it's Manhattan or deeper in Brooklyn.
Now, how often do you commute, and how much do you pay for a Metro card?
I commute literally every single time I need to go anywhere at all in the city whatsoever. And I get a monthly unlimited, so now it's a 127 when before it was 121. And then when it's late night and like I'm in the city, I usually take the express bus, so that's another at bare minimum $650, or I believe $675 now. So like,
okay. When you first started using MTA, was that the original price?
No, definitely not.
Okay, do you feel like we're being overly charged for a single fare, monthly, weeklies?
I mean, as students, yes, I feel like we should probably get to ride the train for free, but I don't know what they have to say about that.
I feel like we're being overpriced for Metro cards, and especially with the prices going up in the future.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be almost like $3 now, so I just feel like it's a bit unfair considering like if people need to get to like a short amount of distance, it doesn't make sense to pay so much money if you're only going to go such like a small way.
Okay. So how do you feel about the prices rising up for weekly and monthly Metro cards?
I think that I'm like so apathetic towards it, not because it's okay, but because they're just gonna do it anyway, no matter how shitty or excellent the service is. It just kind of makes you feel cheated and powerless.
Okay. What is the service like for you? What train lines are you familiar with?
Most of them, I guess. I mean, every single one except for the train on Staten Island.
Oh yeah, there is a train.
Yeah, there is. Nah, they all suck though.
Have you ever encountered a bad experience with the train?
Yeah, definitely.
And what happened?
I mean, you want one experience I've had on the train?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a homeless dude who came on the train and he was I don't know, covered in shit.
Train station, the how it looks, the rats.
The train station is not very well. I'm pretty sure most people can agree with the fact that the train station is dirty and small and dark. Certain places are really, really cold, certain places are really, really hot, so it just seems the conditions aren't very well. Very crowded, very cramped.
Now, declining subway services has adversely affected the job security, family life, and healthcare of riders. Among respondents who were employed, subway delays caused 74% to be late for work meetings, 18% to be reprimanded, and 13% to be lost wages. And an additional 22% of respondents were late for job interviews on accounts of delays, and 2% said they were fired.
This is a Brooklyn-bound Q train. The next stop is 72nd Street.
What is the service like for you?
Again, it's 2 hours every day, so even if one transportation is going really well, the next one could easily be fucked up. And it's just really upsetting how everyone in the city is on the same page at the MTA. It's just some kind of fucking mess. Like, what was it? Saturday night, I was taking the bus home from work, and the Metro machine ate four of my dollars that I was putting on my Metro card so I could go home. And I didn't know what to do, so I go across the street to the MTA agent guy. And so I'm talking to him. I'm like, so your machine, it ate my money, and I have to take the bus to get home. And guy is telling me, what? Go swipe your card and try it. And so I tried it in the train station. I come back. I'm like, okay, it worked, but that's because it's unlimited. And then I'm asking him, like, where's my $4? And he says to me, he's like, oh, you just used it. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? I just used it. It's unlimited. I said unlimited, but I have no money on my card. And so it's just this back and forth. And eventually I just walk away because I'm like, oh, you don't fucking want to listen.
B train that just like sat in between like DeKalb on the Manhattan Bridge for mad long for no reason.
We live in New York City. We're over 1 million people. How do you feel about the delays and there's supposed to be so many trains out there. How do you feel about the delays that's being done?
Yeah, the delays are terrible, especially when it comes to when it's like snowing or when it's really, really, really warm. So it makes no sense why there's so many buses and trains that there's never one on time. Even on regular days, there's usually always a delay. So,
what train lines are you mostly familiar with?
The R, most of all, the N, little pieces of the Q, little bits of the B, D.
And what can you say about these train lines? Do you feel like these train lines are safe? Are they worth the money that you're spending?
They all suck, especially the 2 and the 5. Yo, that shit smells like ass every time you get on.
While on-train announcements are meant to clarify the causes of delays and were relevant and provided information about the alternative routes, many riders do not find these useful. Nearly 85% of respondents graded these announcements as C or lower. Subway riders are highly in tune to decline services. 46% of respondents found service was slightly or far worse than last year, higher than 38% who saw no difference, and the 16% who thought it has improved. Okay, speaking about homeless people, how do you feel about homeless people sleeping on trains, making it uncomfortable for others?
It doesn't really bother me that much. I feel like I'm kind of desensitized to it. I don't really if I get on the train and there's a homeless dude sleeping there, it's kind of like the status quo now. I'm just used to it. How
do you feel about homeless people being on the trains, messing up our home?
Well, I think we should just do a better job of figuring out where we can place homeless people. Well, not place because they're not objects, but figure out a certain way to maintain them because they have no other option than to sleep on the bus and the train and on the street. So I think we should probably figure out a new way. Maybe open up new shelters, make some room.
Do you feel safe on the MTA with homeless people being on it, knowing that the fact that anybody could literally get on the train even though you have to pay?
I don't want to say that it's the homeless people making me feel unsafe, but I do want to say that I don't feel safe in general because it was a couple of years ago that there were a string of slashings going on the number trains.
Oh yeah.
I have to take the number trains to school. And so there's always the little piece of me that's watching extra vigilant, what's the word, vigilantly? Yeah, extra vigilantly. On the train and shit, because I don't want to fucking die. And honestly, people are crazy.
The homeless people don't scare you as much. How do you feel about them being on the MTA, taking up space?
I think the real question there is, how do I feel about New York City not doing anything to help out?
That is a good
people?
question.
They're taking up my space because they have nowhere else to go.
About the rat population increasing in the train in the subway stations.
Fuck the rats.
They're now literally inside the train.
Yeah, the rats suck. I don't even feel comfortable putting my bag on the floor anymore on the train. Like, I used to, like, not even think about it. I would do that shit. And now I, like, have to, like, check underneath the seat and, like, make sure there's no, like, cockroaches or rats or anything.
Of course, New York City has rats, and we're known for our rats. How do you feel about the rats being in the train stations getting bigger and bigger? We're seeing more and more rats every single day. It's just getting filthier and filthier. How do you feel about it?
I think that Pizza Rat was a very iconic moment for New York City culture, but that we need to let that shit go. We got, I mean, how do you fight rats? Pesticides? I swear they do that.
They're on the train with us now. The rats.
Girl, what train you be taking?
They're on the F. There's literally rats now on the train, running in and out of carts.
If they pay your fare, I don't know. I can't really imagine what we would do about that. It's disgusting. I don't want to really have my kids exposed to diseases and like the bubonic plague and shit, but I mean, how do I feel about it? I don't enjoy it. Doesn't sound fun. What can we do about it? I don't know.
Do you believe train conductors when they're saying they're being held by a train in front of them?
No.
What do you feel like the real excuses are?
I feel like a lot of the time it's probably like just stupid shit. Like there's trash on the tracks. Like the MTA just does a terrible job of keeping the tracks clean and like doing what they need to do to make sure that the trains run on time in general.
See one change with MTA next year. What would it be?
Or within the next year?
Yeah, or the next several years.
In the next several years, I'd like to see like high-speed trains with like no conductors.
Do you ever believe the conductors when they're saying that there's train signals, train problems, there's a train ahead of us?
I work in retail and I know that sometimes you have to fudge the truth a little to make it a little easier on the customer. So do I believe every single time that there's train traffic and that there's signal problems? I don't know, but you want to believe.
If you could change one thing about the MTA service, what would it be?
Everything, to just not have the MTA and for someone to just come and abolish it and start their own brand new transportation system because the MTA is just that shit.